Well, hello out there, friends and neighbors. It's your back porch commentators coming to you from somewhere in Missouri, where a firm handshake means more than your signature, and a cold drink can help solve almost any problem. That's what we're planning to do here, bring you along on our journey to the answers to life's questions. You'll get a few facts and a lot of opinions, but remember, we're probably intoxicated and definitely full of shit. So pull up a chair and settle in while we explore some of those most thought-provoking questions. Like, why is a man bun a thing? All right, everybody. So here we are, episode 2, with John and Brent on the back porch here. B&J on the rocks. Hope y'all enjoyed the first episode. That was a rough one to get through toward the end, but we appreciate everybody sticking around.
I was completely passed out, like shamamming drunk.
I just kept editing in everything you said earlier, and I was just winging it.
I did have a lot of positive comments on it, like that was funny.
Yeah.
You guys should do more.
It was fucking fun. Probably the most one of the funniest comments I got was, "Oh shit, I listened to the first 3 minutes and I think I better wait till the kids go to bed." And I was like, "You listened for 3 minutes before you figured out that we need to wait?" I was like, 3 minutes? We went through a lot of shit in 3 minutes.
We flipped a lot of comments. There was, and listening back, I was kind of like, "Oh shit, that didn't make sense at all."
Well, and some of the inside jokes, you got to remember this. We've been friends a long time.
A long time.
And so some of these inside jokes may not make sense to you, and you may think that's very insensitive. It makes total sense to us, and we're fine with it. So
I finished either way.
Indeed. So this week we kind of not really focusing on, but kind of a theme I was kind of thinking of was opportunity in a down economy.
I've been running a whorehouse by hand out of the park. Turns out I'm my biggest customer, and I'm the only one that finishes.
Well, you know, whatever. Is that insider trading?
Yeah. It was outsider trading.
Well, you know.
As a matter of fact, that's the great thing about having a vasectomy. When I had my vasectomy, and I just want to say that to clarify, I had a vasectomy.
Blinks.
Yeah. I went from a fan of strudels to a fan of Twinkies. Because you went from the icing on the outside to just put the. That's another one of my favorite pickup lines at bars. I just walk up to a girl randomly, look at her, and be like, "Look, I just want you to know, I plan on making you like a Starburst." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" Because afterwards, you're gonna think, "How'd you get all that juice packed inside?" Usually, they're so shocked, I know right away where it's going.
It's going one way or the other.
Yeah, usually it's going away from me, but it's worth that look.
But there might have been one standing around,
right?
And said, "Oh, he's the one. He's the one. I'm taking him home tonight."
Him and those 3 guys over there.
If you play your cards wrong. Oh, man. All right. So what are we drinking for episode 2? I picked this up. This is Crown Royal Bourbon Mash. It's blended in the
high class,
the American oak barrels and some charred bourbon barrels. So
it's a lot smoother going down straight than Jack was. That being said, this is going to be the only one that I drink straight because I'm not going to be laying head down on the picnic table again. For those of you listening, we're sitting at a picnic table that I helped my father put together when I was like 10 years old, and now it resides on my back porch because he used it for a dining room table for years. My dad was creative like that. He was like, you know what? Here's the thing. He was picky about his nails, his hair. He'd pluck his eyebrows. He was always very hygienic, but he liked to pretend he was like biker trash. Like, he's like, "Yeah, man, I got a picnic table for a dining room table, you know?" Like, he retired from the police department. He grew a Fu Manchu mustache and grew a ponytail. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just like his lifelong goal to, like, recess in life. Like, look, we've come this far. I'm very educated. I'm very intelligent.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be the stupidest motherfucker you can imagine, just because I can, and that's the way I wanted to live.
Because I've already done all that. Now it's time for this.
Right.
Now, it was speaking of your dad, I did apologize for your dad's death long before last week.
Right. Roger that.
But I was curious. Now, he lived in Texas for a long time.
Right. He moved down there in '86.
Was he a cop down there?
He was a Texan, a cop in Grand Prairie, Texas.
Okay, that's cool.
And then he was a dick. I mean, like later, like he became a street beat to a detective. Yeah.
Oh. I thought you said dick.
He is a dick. That's what they call detectives for short.
Oh,
but
okay,
it just seemed fitting because
that's right.
he's a dick.
Gotcha.
No, my dad and I had an awkward relationship.
Yeah.
And the distance probably helped. And then afterwards, I think since he passed, I've learned more about him.
And that's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's the thing as a man. I think as you get a little older, you start realizing how much your father you're like. Even if you didn't spend a lot of time or you weren't super tight, like the genetic, it's embedded in you.
Yeah.
It's just. That being said, maybe I'll hit 45 and go, you know what? I want to be biker trash now. I'll just let my pubes grow out. Put some, I'll do some Willie Nelson braids on my ball sack. I don't know. I mean, you might not be surprised. I might surprise myself.
That'll be a Snapchat I'm ready to get.
Check out my new balls. I'm going to tie a red handkerchief around my pecker.
Free Willy.
It's going to have to be one of those small dog handkerchiefs, but I'll make it work.
Nice.
So we cooked out tonight.
We did.
Right.
And that's nice.
While we were over there cooking out, I was thinking about how much grilling actually sounds pornographic. Like, oh, I'm just going to marinate these breasts. Nice and juicy. Oh yeah. I'm going to throw this on the grill because I like it hot.
I can't look in your eyes when you're saying that.
And I am looking right at you. It's hot and steamy breasts. I'm going to marinate this with my special sauce. I like to watch them smoke, so do I. Is it done? No, it's pink in the center.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, anytime I handle
the juice all comes out.
I believe that's called a cream pie, which I did not get dessert. I apologize for that.
That's all right.
That's probably not very PC, is it?
Whatever.
Comedy isn't PC.
We
though.
don't know. And it shouldn't be.
Well, no. If you can't, if you're doing comedy on any level, even if it's two guys bullshitting or what, nothing can be on. Like I've got a buddy whose father grew up very Catholic.
Yeah.
And they were farmers and everything else. And his dad came out of the closet later on in life.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we're going from Catholic to, and this dude drank Jack. I remember being over at their house, and he'd come in from work, wash his hands, take off his boots, and he'd go straight over to the kitchen counter, pour Jack, a little splash of water, and drink it and whatever. And he was a man's man. That's just the way it was. Yeah. And then he came out as gay, and we crack gay jokes at him because you can't avoid it's the pink elephant in the room.
Right.
Like, it's not like, hey, sorry about your dad's chin or anything like that. It's just like, you'll make a comment here and there.
Sorry about the closet, man.
Yeah, it's not like we're, it's not like we're poking direct jabs or like, hey, I poked your dad last night. The mom jokes, that's good for. But when your dad comes out of the closet, you can't make a I fucked your dad joke.
Right.
I mean, that's just over the limit. But like to walk up and instead of singing like sitting on the dock of the bay, you're sitting there going, my balls were on his chin because he's gay.
Yeah. Nice.
So, but you can't, everything's open. So
well, and think about the comedians. One of the cleanest comedians that we know, Bill Cosby.
Yeah. I see how that works.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like they say, like the super conservative politicians, the ones that are out there like, no abortions, guns for everybody, blah, 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 gay rights are stupid. And then he's like 3 knuckles deep in a Boy Scout in an airport bathroom.
One of these days, that's going to come unwound.
Right. You can't keep it that tight for that long. Ask your mom.
Right.
This episode sponsored by Magic Eraser. Because if that don't get her off, I will.
That's going to come around every episode.
That's my goal.
I love that.
That's my goal. Shit.
We'll get back to it.
So did you hear about the you hear about the Irishman? We're drinking whiskey. This only seems fitting. Well,
I almost bought Irish whiskey, by the way.
Did you?
Hellcat Maggie. Have you ever had that?
Never heard that. But it's named Maggie, so it's obviously Irish.
It is fucking delicious.
Is it smooth?
It is. That's the only whiskey I'll do shots with.
Really?
Yeah, but it's I'll get it next time.
See, when I was really like drinking a lot, drinking a lot.
Really drinking a lot. It's been about a week now.
Well, I realized how much it was cutting into my pocket. Like the Jew of me came out. Like I was caught between being a liquored up man whore and being a conservative Jew.
Not a cheap habit.
Not a cheap habit, yeah. And so I figured out that if I went in and did 2 shots of Jack and then just finished out the night with beer, that not only would I hit the buzz super strong, super fast, but then I'd just ride it out the rest of the night,
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to that. All of a sudden, I just become a fucker getting drunk. Whatever.
Well, that's I get that. Once you get started, that's how I am too. It's like I'll go into a bar even, and because I play music and stuff.
Right.
I don't go to the bar to drink usually, unless it's with a friend. But I'll go in and it's like, okay, I'm not going to drink anything tonight. And it's like, all right, give me one.
Might
It's
as
like,
well.
I'm playing for 3 hours, so I get a couple more. And shit, they give you a tab of, $40 or whatever. It's like, well, shit, I'm by myself. Like, I don't have a band to
last.
feed here. Like, gets to be 1:30. They're like, are you okay?
I'm good.
I'm good. Never been better.
Solid. Well, and for you,
Is it time for shots?
It's not like you have a distraction. Like with me, I'm like, I got to keep my shit about me a little bit because I might want my D to get hard later.
Right.
You're like, I'm going home. I don't give a shit. I'm going home. So,
yeah.
And at that point, you might not want your D to get hard because by the time you get home, she's like, you got home pretty late. You ain't getting none of this.
Well, and my thing is when I'm playing, I don't want to be wasted while I'm playing.
Right. You'll forget the lyrics.
Okay, so now I get done playing at midnight, 12:30, and it's like, now I've got an hour to finish the rest. So by the time everybody else is already gone, I'm getting started. And I got to get it in all real quick.
Well, see, the bars that I frequent, a lot of times the girls there are so ugly. You need a little liquor. Like, I don't go to classy joints, and I
Speaking
love,
of opportunities.
Yeah, I love holes in the wall. That's just where I fit in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a biker trash, that intergenetic biker trash coming out. I don't know, but I'm looking at the girls usually when I walk in so ugly that their glut counts as butt sex. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
You're the one, baby.
yeah, we're gonna have to. One of us is gonna have to turn around for this.
I don't know if it's
That's
a hole or
COVID.
not, but I'm finding it.
That's a COVID safe sex. Is what
There
that
you go.
is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put your face in this pillow right now for me, not so much for you.
This segment sponsored by My Pillow.
It's made right here in the USA.
You know that guy's gonna come out as a pedophile one of these days.
Dude, he's got the mustache,
Yes.
and he's wearing he's like got the crucifix like he always wears outside.
Oh my
the shirt.
God! Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's too much. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, okay, you were raised super religious,
Yeah.
and as you've grown up, you've educated and strayed from it. Just not strayed from it, but maybe
Oh, I was
found
from
the
I took a U-turn. I was like,
but yeah,
sorry,
but
Ma.
you didn't like roll completely back down the hill. You just took a side street,
right. I just kind of one of the analogies I've heard about it is Bill Burr talking about what is that Olympic game where they throw the rocks and the people sweeping.
Oh,
try to
yeah,
get on
like
the
the
ice and
shuffle,
get it. Yeah, whatever the fuck that's called. And he's like, it's kind of like that. I just kind of let it go. And it sees it right there. It goes. Okay, we'll see you later. Just like that, and it's just done. Okay.
See, and as I've gotten older, I've found a closer path to that. I mean, I'm not like Bible thumping or
Right.
anything, but I've obviously found some sort of anchoring in it. You know,
Yeah.
there's just been too much shit in my life happen that I'm not going. I'm looking up, going, yeah, you did that shit on purpose. I smell what you're cooking. Yeah, I see what you're throwing out there.
Yeah.
So
No, I get that too, and it's weird because I'm a spiritual person,
right,
but not religious.
right.
It's a different kind of thing, and people think when I say, "Well, I'm spiritual," they're like, "Oh, so you found God again?" No, different.
Yeah, he was a Mexican guy on the mile marker 82
Jesus.
turn on. I gave him a cheeseburger. He blessed me. It was awesome. It was good for both of us.
I found him. Oh, he was lost. Oh, okay. Sorry.
See, I've bounced around religion my whole life. Like, you know, you bring it into it, you bring it out, and whatever, and you know, then you know whether it be, you know, crazy women that have brought me. I'll tell you what, crazy women have brought me closer to Jesus than anything.
Yeah.
But one in particular that I think we all refer to as Barbie,
Yeah.
for legal reasons. We'll leave it at that. But seriously, I danced around coming to Jesus. There hasn't been that much choreography since the Oswald prison transfer. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of dancing around that.
Speaking of Kennedy again.
Yeah, I'm a huge Kennedy fan. Like, I don't know what it is about that era. And I think that's, you know, like, you know, the day the music died. I think that was a significant point in American history where we just, if he can do it,
Yeah.
you know, it
Right.
all went downhill.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And, you know, there's 100 things that could have happened there. But anyways, another topic.
That's our
The
political humor
choreography.
for this
Yeah.
week.
The choreography. That's where I'm sticking with. I'm stopping there. Dancing with the Stars, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
Good whiskey.
It is. I highly recommend it. Crown Royal Bourbon Mash. Smooth.
Bourbon mash. That's really hard. That's really hard to say without slipping out and saying morbid smash, which sounds like something, you know, you'd find out your grandmother's crematory did and you didn't want to know.
And then, so on here, they got to have an extra sticker. You know, this device is, you know, whatever security device or whatever sticker. It says, "This is not a bourbon whiskey."
So what is it then?
It's whiskey aged in bourbon barrels.
Right.
So you get the bourbon flavor, but
without.
there's no bourbon in it,
So it
I guess.
so it only costs $40, not 80.
Right. Yeah, 30. It's Whiskey Wednesdays.
That's not a bad title. Whiskey Wednesday.
I just happened to see that on my way through town, and I was like, all right, I'm stopping there. You got it.
Smooth
That's
endings.
exactly what I'm looking for.
Smooth endings. That's
Yeah,
where
smooth endings.
Smooth endings.
On Beck Road, St. Joseph, Missouri.
There you go. You
Their
know,
prices are usually higher than everybody else, but on Whiskey Wednesdays, you can get it for the right price. You're welcome. You're not sponsoring our fucking show.
When I hear smooth endings, though, it kind of reminds me of maybe the first time you did it with a girl that shaved her fahooter. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yeah, this is going to be a smooth ending. Like, Boeing 747, we're coming in for a landing. It's going to be a smooth ending today.
And everybody in the back's going, what?
What? Poof. There's this.
We made it in the pooter.
I dated this girl, and I think we reached the fart boundary. You know, like
Sure.
you're gonna cross the boundary, whatever. And we were fucking around. And as a guy, the butthole on a woman is like a magical orifice. Like, you know, there's that old saying, it's like a 9-volt battery. You know, sooner or later, you're going to put your tongue on it. You know, it's kind of like that. You know, at some point, you're going to be either drunk or you're just going to be feeling ornery enough. And she maybe pissed you off earlier in the day by, you know.
But I'm licking your butthole.
And you try and put your finger on it, you know, just to test the boundaries.
Yeah.
And she goes, don't do that again or I'll fart on your finger. And I was like, oh, bullshit, you know, and I put my finger on it, and she goes, and I was like, I felt the heat off. I didn't hear it. I just felt the heat off of it. And I was like, It's a fucking hell of a way to break the boundary, I guess. So can I just dump on your chest now? Is that cool? Like, I would be honored to dump on your chest.
Is that what it feels like when you break the hymen on the other side? I didn't do it with my finger, though.
There was definitely some vacuum there. Like, it pushed me away, but then it pulled me back in.
Where's the dust?
Again, like Christianity. It pushed me away, then it pulled me. Christianity is the silent SPD of the religious world.
Yes.
Anyways. There's got to be people out there that are listening to this going, what the fuck is wrong with people? I mean,
especially these two guys.
Right. I mean, we've got this nice subtle. I mean, the B&J, like, there's a little part of me that giggles to that. But the title of this podcast is not near as bad as Mike Tyson's. Have you seen? Like, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, like trying to prepare for ours.
It's On the Ropes, isn't it?
No, it's called Hot Boxing.
Hot Boxing. That's right. Yeah.
What the hell?
But dude, so you've listened to some of his stuff?
No, I just
okay.
seen the title. I couldn't bring myself to listen to somebody doing this, talking about how I didn't know whether he was going to get like into Boston stories or whether he was just going to flat out talking about his time in prison. Like, I was in prison, I ate steak, and I hotboxed my roommate a lot because we cuddled, and I was not the top. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't know.
I'm gonna eat your babies. Oh yeah, I'm gonna eat your baby. Whatever. But no, that dude, his transformation between the fucking like baddest motherfucker of the world, right, to what he is now, it's kind of like Mr. T. Like he's like almost preacher now, right?
I mean, he didn't bite anybody's ear off, granted, Mr. T. But.
Oh, Mr. T, right? Right. But oh my God, he's got actually quite an amazing story. If you have
Mr.
time
T?
to well maybe, but Tyson, the way he grew up,
Really?
and he was basically like fucking on his own from like age of 9 almost.
Really?
Got into marijuana, drinking, coke, early, and fucking what was the guy's name? His fucking manager, Custom Auto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, he was an old fucker. He was like 70 when he got a hold of Mike, right? In his teens, and basically like talked him up and just you're the baddest motherfucker in the world. Nobody can beat you. You're like a god, this and that.
Well, no wonder he had the ego.
Oh my God! So they did hypnosis. They did all kinds of shit.
Oh shit!
He, as much physical training as he did, they also did mental training, and so that's why like nobody could fuck with him, But now he looks at that shit and he's embarrassed by all of it. He's like,
Really?
he hates the person he was then. He wants nothing to do with it. He wishes it would just disappear. But he's got this documentary that they did, and he basically like self-deprecated himself. He's like, this is not. I wasn't that guy. Like, I didn't want to be that guy.
Huh.
He didn't want to be that guy for the last 5-6 years he was boxing, but it was his only way to make money at the time. So he's like, fuck it, I'll do it. Nobody can beat me. Whatever. It's boring.
Right.
But yeah, his story is just fucking amazing, really.
Is that why he kind of plays off and jokes around? Because remember The Hangover?
Yeah.
Where he does that Phil Collins, like, dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Hold on, it's my favorite part. He makes fun of himself a lot now.
Yeah.
And I would be a little nervous about that, because if Mike Tyson walked in, like, the door and was like, I'm sorry.
Here's my tiger.
I'm probably talking your leg off. And I'm like, as long as you're not chewing my ear off, I mean,
Exactly.
like, how's he going to take that?
Exactly. Man, he's got some crazy fucking stories, though. He was on Joe Rogan. I guess it was like a year ago, but I just saw it the other day. But it was fucking amazing. Check it out if anybody has time. It's like an hour and a half podcast.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, I like to listen to Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But there's times where I can't tell whether he's like stepped in a hole of conversation and he's trying to backtrack, or he's just that fake. Like, he's almost overzealous about a lot. Like, oh yeah, man, totally. I'm into it.
I think it depends on how much weed they smoked before
Probably.
the interview.
Roger that.
Or during the interview.
Right, like our first one where I was smashed to shit. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I can't.
But the thing I like about Joe, though, is he has everybody on. He'll have, Bernie Sanders, and then he'll have, well, I don't know if Bernie Sanders has been on there, but he's had, like, Elon Musk, and then he'll have, like, Ben Shapiro,
Ben Shapiro, you got to appreciate his
Right.
Quick wit.
But he'll have everybody on, whether he agrees with them or not, and they'll
Well.
have the discussion. I think one of the most interesting ones was Ted Nugent. And because they couldn't be further apart politically,
Oh, right.
but musically,
Big click.
he fucking digs it,
Yeah.
And I dig Ted Nugent's music.
Oh, yeah.
His politics are fucking crazy
He's went a little out there.
sometimes. But yeah, so it's like, well, as long as we just stick to music, we can do that.
That's ironic, though, because usually when you get older, you tend to get more mild-mannered about politics, I would think. Because, I mean, even to me, especially since my son's been born, I think, when you become a father, you realize there's a lot more important shit than everybody else's fucking issues in the world.
Right.
Doesn't matter how loud or how much you bitch. It doesn't fucking matter. It's not going to affect your world as long as you protect your bubble.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And anyways, I to see some of these people going way overboard when they get older, it's like,
Right.
man, maybe you should have smoked more weed back when.
Yeah, well, he didn't.
Right.
He's been clean
for, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And like you said, maybe he should have.
but those are always the wild. I mean, look at Alice Cooper. He supposedly never did a lot of drugs or anything back in the 60s and wearing mascara. Kiss.
Yeah.
Gene Simmons. He says, "Hi, I'm Gene Simmons.
Right.
I never did drugs. I like Wonder Bread."
Right.
I don't
It's
know.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Not the monster you quite expected.
right. I don't know. You know what I have a firm belief in.
So-
Speaking of like people chilling out and saying goodbye, whatever. Mike Tyson, peace out. I'm going right.
Yeah.
I believe that people should bring back like Good Day. I mean, like
Yeah.
I mean, people are coming back with the hats. Old people and hipsters are coming back with the hats from the 20s and shit.
Yeah.
I think not only would it bring some class back, but it's also, depending on how you say it, multi-purpose.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
what is it? What's a language that uses the same for hello as goodbye? What's
Oh, well. Whatever Hawaiian is.
right? Aloha, aloha.
Yeah.
So goodbye could have that. Like you could be like, "Good day to you, sir," and it's like, "Hey, how's it going? Have a great day, motherfucker."
And it can also mean
and it can also
fuck
mean,
off.
"And good day to you, sir," which is just a polite way of saying, "Fuck off."
The English man.
Yeah, and you would
Gotta
have
love
to
that
say you
shit.
got to pull that accent out. Like,
Right.
and that's the thing. I would walk in somewhere and just pull out my thickest. I grew up in Texas, but I'm a Yankee accent. And goddamn, this is the biggest pile of horse shit that I've ever seen. That's just bullshit. And you can take your business and shove it up your ass. Good day to you, sir. And walk out and leave them going, what?
What the fuck just happened?
Was he Australian? Because that was a cowboy like in Crocodile Dundee, right? Like maybe he's just a little,
You're walking out there going, "There's a knife,"
No,
because you can't have guns.
right. That's not a dick. This is a dick. Just slap it on the window. Drawing that line for that for your next sausage party, will you? A good day to you, sir.
Helicopter.
So,
Oh, shit.
on this COVID test,
Yeah.
here we are a week later. And I know we agreed we wouldn't touch on it a whole lot, okay?
You almost can't not.
You can't, yeah, it's just so out there. But, so, I went to a hardware store in St. Joe this week.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to name names.
Sure.
It's one of the big chains. It's on the south end. It starts with an M and ends with Nards. Basically, that was just my way of getting Nards on this podcast somewhere.
Yeah.
So they've got a sign out there and a security guard. And the security guard is obviously a large man that somehow flunked out of cop school. So he's standing out there with his hands behind his back and his chest all puffed out. And I'm like,
What are you going to do?
Yeah, whatever. He's like, you can't bring your thumb in here. He's half Mike Tyson, by the way. He's Mike Tyson's second brother's cousin's in-law. He's like, you can't bring your thumb in here. And I was like, I'm sorry. Anybody under 15 is not allowed in here. I'm like, okay. So I just walked over to the customer service desk, returned what I had to, and she goes, do you have any other shopping you need to do today? And I was like, not anymore, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to Home Depot.
Right.
Because, like, I know there's an amount of precaution here, but when you're telling me to set, as a single parent,
Leave your
to
son in
leave
the
my
car.
kid in the car so I can get a plastic P trap for the camper,
Yeah.
you know,
And the milk.
Yeah.
And the front door.
Right. It's just like, okay, so you want to leave a pedophile shopping mart out in your parking lot? I mean, most parents are going to make the logical decision and go, okay, well, then I'll just go somewhere else.
Right.
But there were people that were leaving their kids in the car, and I'm just like, it really, so I shot an email to them because I am that passive-aggressive. So I shot an email. I got an email response back from some guy named Rob. He's like, I'm sorry, but
Rob
there's
Menard?
probably Rob
Menards?
Menards. So he goes, during this time we're taking, and the email I wrote was, I took time, I used vocabulary. I wasn't like, motherfucker. I wasn't, South End St. Joe
tweeting them.
Right. I was like, look, I understand precautions. There is an amount in common sense, but the same people you're telling you can't bring in the kids, they handle their kids and then they leave home and they come to your store. Or they handle their kids into their car and they come into this. I don't know if you know how contamination works.
It comes from everywhere out there.
It comes from everywhere, and we're all bringing it in, and it does not make sense because after this shit's over, you're still going to want our business. As single parents, if you make it difficult, I'm not coming back, especially since they're clear fucking on the south end of the populace from everybody else. The only reason you pass Menards is because you're either like on your way out of town or you're going to Love's Truck Stop for an Arby's sandwich because you're a truck driver or you're looking for a lot lizard. Like, there is no reason to be on the south end of St. Joe on I-29.
Right.
You know, it just there's not much of a reason. What are you doing? You're leaving town. And if you're leaving town, you don't need to pick up fucking dryer sheets and plumbing supplies. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways.
Who the fuck made that store?
Right. I'm just like, there's got to be a limit of common sense to this somewhere. But that wasn't what I was getting at. So this COVID thing, there's a lot of people having doctor's appointments, right?
Wait, so your response back?
I didn't respond. I didn't even open it. I just deleted it because I knew that if I opened it, it would piss me off and ruin my day.
During this time.
He's like, we're taking precautions. You're an asshole.
Sorry.
Fuck you. I don't care about your $11.23. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
all right.
Okay.
Guess we're done here.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's not like I'm a big whatever vendor, but I have probably dished out, several thousands of dollars to Menards over the years. So, anyways, I was like, Home Depot's closer, But with all this shit going on, so I work, I contract with the Postal Service, and there was a carrier today talking about, and I told you about this earlier, but the carrier was talking about having to go to a doctor's appointment. And supposedly the receptionist called, a couple days prior and said, are you going to be able to do this appointment through a video cast? And at this point, it's not registering. I'm just like, okay, whatever. That seems pretty common. I've heard that, so far in the last couple months. And then he goes on and somebody goes, whoa. What kind of an appointment was it? And he was like, it's for my colonoscopy. I was like, record scratch. I was like, wait a second. So
back this truck up.
Was this just like an appointment to set an appointment? Like we need to make sure we need to get in your butthole before we actually get in your butthole. Can you do this over video chat?
Is everything still there?
Yeah, or is this like one of those kinky things you come across at 3:00 in the morning when you've went related to on Pornhub and you're on page 585, right? And you're going, how the fuck did I get to this guy making a video of his freckled butthole? Like I don't even understand. How did I end up on this side of Pornhub? Like I was looking I was looking for hot Latina mamas, and all of a sudden I'm over here looking at Mr. Freckle Butthole. Like I don't even know where the paths crossed exactly. And so I'm like, wait a second. I said, so did you end up going to the appointment or did you do the video? And he goes, no, of course I went to the appointment. He goes, I had to wear a mask and stuff. And I was like, whoa. Okay, so this gets better. So not only did you not video chat your butthole, but at this point, you also had to wear a mask. Like the doctor was like, look, I'm worried about contamination and getting COVID sick. So I'm going to ask you to wear this mask while I go elbow deep in your ass. Like, does anybody, like, isn't that basically Asian porn in general? Like, we're going to blur this out, but everybody's wearing a mask. Right. Like, where does this common sense line draw? Like, look, I know I'm fingering feces, but I'm worried if you cough. And usually that's the goal, isn't it? Like, they put two fingers up there, you cough.
How you not going to cough?
I mean, at that point, I'm going to be singing you, show tunes just to make myself fit in. That's really deep.
You're the one that made this awkward. I'm just adding to it.
I'm trying to entertain you, goddammit.
That reminds me of how they swab your arm with alcohol before they give you a lethal injection in
Right.
prison, right?
Right.
It's like, you wouldn't want them to get an infection,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, if this goes right,
Go
and
to
you
hell
don't
and
die,
be sick.
we don't want to
Where's the
spread
humanity?
we don't want to spread that syphilis anywhere.
Right.
It makes you wonder, though. Do you think they use the same needle? I mean, they could save a lot out of the budget if they just use the same needle on everybody.
Right.
I mean, rinse it out with a little H2O and move on with
Warm
the day.
water, you know.
Right, whatever.
Not hot, well, you know, something about 80 degrees or so. You
Right.
know, so,
I mean, don't waste the water heater.
yeah.
They're dead. Like, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being me. You want some more?
I will take some more. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is good shit. That is smooth straight.
It is, isn't it?
Hmm.
I'm pretty smooth for being straight, too. Although, that's been argued. I did break up with this one girl.
The straight part or the smooth part?
Both of them. I mean, I shaved my balls like 3 days ago, so there's a little stubble in
Yeah.
that. But so I dumped this girl, and she told everybody I was gay, and I was like, "Really? Like, do you realize what you're basically? If anybody believes that, because half the people that she told, I'd probably bang their sister, mother, cousin,
Or them.
girlfriend, wife, you know." Whatever.
Yeah.
But not only that, but you're basically telling somebody, it's an insult. He went gay. After fucking you, I went gay.
Right.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
It's a side effect.
Right. I hope she hears this and she just knows that no matter what, you can tell everybody that it was bad sex. You can tell everybody you never liked me. You can tell everybody that I'm gay, but you can never unlick my butthole. And the syphilis never goes away either.
It's like the gift that keeps giving.
Right. Right. Just kidding. It was herpes.
I come around every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's once in a while when she gets real stressed, there's a little spot on her lip that reminds her of me. I'm kidding, y'all. I'm kidding. But seriously.
No, she would just be happy you were talking about her at this point.
No,
right?
probably. She was a fucking...
Oh, yeah, he's talking about me again.
And the thing was she'd go batshit, and I go to one, and then they go batshit, and I go back to her, and I just kind of went back between the two, and you know that was a lot on me. That was a lot of I was to a breaking point, I think, in my life. I'd went through some hard stuff, and I was just morally desegregated from really where I needed to be in life.
Right.
But in the end, I thought they kind of deserve this. Like, okay, that's one thing. Like, you as a man, you have had a blessing of having a good marriage. I mean, you've had your ups and downs, but you've had a good woman and a good marriage.
For a long time.
Right. Me, on the other hand, have met a lot of crazy over the years. And if there's one thing that I can pass on to guys like you, is that it's no matter how green the grass looks on the other side, 90% of the time as a single dude, you are just trying not to get stabbed in your sleep after getting your dick wet. Like, it is a constant game of Russian roulette. You want to do it, but is it worth it? And as you get a little older, about 35, the blood starts transferring a little slower, and you go, maybe I should. You start seeing the red flags.
Right.
And that's probably a whole nother episode of issues to look forward to.
Right.
But, I mean,
We
I could go
do
on
an
about
episode on that.
I could do on this for hours, but, you know, the most I can say is red pill yourself. If you're a single male, red pill yourself. If you're a married man in a good marriage, no matter what she does that's wrong, if she doesn't fuck around on you and she ain't stealing your money, just stay there.
Right.
Because you can teach her anything that you can get anywhere else. Because 90% of the time, the girls you hook up with, it's not that great.
And chances are she's accepting you too.
Right. Oh, God, yeah.
Because, yeah.
Yeah. I was with Jack's mom for
I'm
a
married
long
up.
time.
I'm married up,
Oh,
definitely.
definitely. Yeah. She
Definitely.
probably was training you a lot of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, if you're married and it's a good marriage, make it work. If not, say goodbye to half your shit, half your retirement, and hello to a lot of crazy.
And it's never going to end.
No.
I know some guys that have been going through divorces, or their divorce was done years ago, but because of, both their names were on the house,
business,
or, they had kids, whatever,
right.
Could be anything. They're still dealing with shit
years
years later.
Have you ever seen these couples? It seems like a coincidence that when somebody builds a new house, they get divorced shortly after.
Oh my God!
I don't know if it's the stress from building the house that causes it, or whether it's like
burn the house down.
I got my house. Yeah, there was a guy like here in Andrew County. I don't remember his name. I don't know the guy personally. I just heard the story. But supposedly they're building a house. They've got the land bought. They've got the foundation poured, electrical, plumbing, all that shit. Their house is ready to start going up, and he finds out she's fucking around on him, and he takes a bulldozer and goes over there and like the whole. And at that point, you got to figure the land work. The electricians, the plumbing, the foundation itself, they probably had an easy $40,000-$50,000 in it.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not good with those figures. I don't know.
At least.
I would think. You pay somebody to flatten a spot out, then dig a hole in the foundation, the concrete, and the rebar.
He's like, fuck it, I'll flatten it out again for free.
Yeah. He's like, watch this shit. Just watch it burn, man.
Love will make you do some crazy shit.
Yeah. That's the last time I ate her asshole.
Oh.
Okay. When you pass away, like at the end of your journey in this life, okay?
Next week.
Yeah, if we keep going like this, maybe.
Depends on what time I get home tonight.
Right.
Okay, we're good.
When you pass away, what is one thing that, like I'm not talking about a general proximity, like one sentence that you would like to hear out of one person's mouth, what would that be?
I think just that, good friend, good husband, good brother, good son,
Right.
That's it.
Right. I've taken on a whole different
He
perspective
would fucking
here.
help me anytime, whatever.
Well, and I do appreciate that hand job. I mean,
Yeah, you're welcome.
that was excellent. For a guy with calluses from playing guitar,
Yeah.
you really hit that G string,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Fuck
saying?
yeah. Bend it all the way.
Yeah. When you hit my whammy bar, I was like, wow. So my goal is I just want somebody to get up on the podium and talk to the three people that are there and go, he was a guy that took you one day to know and 20 years to believe. Like that is my ultimate goal. Like I just want somebody to be like,
you're there.
He's not like that just for the podcast. He's not like that just in a bar when he's drunk.
This is him.
This is who he is. I mean, I think that would be because at this point, like I'm past the, I take fathering very seriously. Anybody that knows me knows that. Any girl that I've ever dated knows that I don't introduce my son or bring him. I take work seriously because it's my livelihood and it's my name on the side of the thing or on the checks anyways. But it's like
Roadhead.
Road ahead logistics.
Speaking of that, I never got my hat.
Oh shit, I got some in the closet. Road ahead logistics.
I never got my head.
If you've got a load, we'll put it in our rear.
That's our sponsor.
That's it. but like,
we got a sponsor.
But like, I don't think at this point, like, I can be like, he was a good husband, he was a religious leader. No, because if I died tomorrow, everybody's gonna be like, look, I'm not a crazy son, but I'm not that dude doing 90 through stop signs and shit,
right.
and drinking and going home every night. But you get around me and you're like, you're kind of fucked up. And I'm okay with that. Like, if I got nothing else for people to remember me by, it's that point of, that's really who he was.
Yes.
Like, even by himself, he was still saying this shit. And the dog was completely entertained.
He was okay with it.
He was okay with it.
Now, here's my advice as a friend.
Uh-huh. I love when somebody says, as a friend. It's like,
friend.
I'm going to insult you, but I don't want you to cry.
No, you'll be okay with this. You'll be okay with this. Speaking of how we were talking about drinking earlier, right?
Right.
So you get your buzz on.
Right.
And then you just kind of like maintain.
Let it go.
Right. So you can't keep living like you're living or you have lived in the past.
Waylon
right?
Jennings
We're
did it.
getting over it. We ain't no Waylon Jennings.
True.
He did it for all of us. Right.
Right.
And but no, you got to a point, and now you can just kind of like let the stories speak for themselves.
Right.
Live it up a little bit here and there to keep it going, right?
Right. Make sure the heart's still funky.
But now you're on the beer end of the things, right? You know, you're just kind of like, you're kind of mellowed out.
I would like to say yes, but I'm going to be honest with you. When my boy
these
hits old
people
enough, when my boy hits old enough,
We all know.
I'm laying her back out there, man. If I, you know, I want to be cremated.
You're going to have to be.
Yeah, because I mean, my body is not going to live.
It's going to burn for 3 fucking days.
Right.
How much alcohol did he have left?
Satan's gonna pick up and go, damn, that's hot. Turn it down. You know, that's my goal. Like I want the whole front row to be like 7 girls that I've snorted coke off there. Because if I have
got
the
no
blessing,
eyebrows now.
right? I mean, with my genetic pool, my genetic pool is a cesspool. I mean, if I make it to 60 and I'm retired, I'm gonna go down. If I'm going down, you know, I'm going down in flames.
Yeah, in flames.
I'm just gonna write, because if I plan on being cremated anyways, because I'm claustrophobic and I don't want to be buried, I'm gonna be like, I don't want my body to look pretty in the casket.
Right.
You know, if I die, I want rug burn on my face from a 300-pound fat black girl that just rode me to death. You know what I'm saying? Not that I'm into that, but I'm just saying, like, at that point, you've tried everything else. It probably doesn't work anyways. I might as well try something new.
But if you have a casket,
right,
if you're not cremated, leave that shit open as a reminder to everybody else. This is what happens.
I would have somebody, I would have them inject my D with concrete, and I'd just hang a sign that said free rides.
Yeah. Prop me up.
Right.
We miss you, Joe Diffie. You know, I was going to have that played at my funeral when I was like 12. I was like, that song's going to be played at my funeral.
It's really morbid to think about when you're 12.
Well, you know.
Part
Whatever.
of life. We already.
But about every 5 years, I pick a new song. So, you know.
I don't know what mine would be. I think it would probably have to be something by like Wheeler Walker Jr.
Right.
Not because like I feel his music, not because it like applies to me, but just like, fuck it, you know,
right.
that amount of attitude of just, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
How do you think you'll go? Natural causes, heart attack, just old as fuck.
Probably heart attack.
Probably heart attack. Yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning towards, a heart attack or stroke. I mean, I've spent half my life stroking. Why wouldn't I stroke out? So,
as he got his last stroke in,
right.
he took his last.
You know what's
out.
ironic? Here's something that'll make you feel old. When I think back to the very first time I masturbated, I realize that I've been masturbating 3 times as long as I was alive when I started, almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pushing 38.
Yeah.
And, you know, you figure you started at like 10, 11 years old. That means 28 years of my life I've been, you know, gripping and slipping, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. Maybe I'm above the curve on that one for once.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of the game. No, okay. Like that's okay. Here's
Now
one
you
for
may have had more mileage,
I'll tell you what.
but as far as age goes, I think we're all probably about there.
You know, when you're younger, dudes insult each other by jerk off jokes. Oh, you masturbate, you jerk off, you probably play with yourself. By the time you're our age, it's like it's a joke. I beat my dick 3 times last night, still wouldn't go down. It was amazing. By the way, that's a true story. I'm gonna have to probably keep going. No, you go ahead and put the lid on.
You
I'll
got a
top
little
off
bit
here.
there.
Yeah. I don't like to mix them properly.
Doesn't take much coke. This is very, very good.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that could mess a guy up pretty quick. Crown Royal Bourbon Mash, because it sounds like Morbid Smash.
Maybe they could sponsor this shit.
If it don't give you a stiffy, it'll give you the stiffy.
Just send us a bottle every week. We'll be all right.
The smooth endings.
Smooth endings. And the other side of the store is Clean Beginnings.
Oh.
They're cleaners.
Oh, they're cleaners.
They're
I thought
cleaners
that was like,
and a liquor store.
I thought that was going to be like a weed store or something.
No, right.
fuck, why not?
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, well, right. Smooth endings though.
Give it
That
time.
kind of reminds me of another joke. So as most people know, I famously am enjoying my age of 37 and looking like 28. I tend to date younger.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Get it while you can. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
The problem with that is there's been a few that call me daddy. Which at first I was like, that's kind of weird. And then during coitus, I was like, it's kind of hot. I'm not going to lie to you because I'm fucked up just enough to enjoy it, but not fucking up enough to, partake in it. So, but the problem is if you try and date a younger girl for a long period of time and it's one that's called you daddy, and she does something and you're fighting and it's just like, you're like a fucking child. And I've said that before. Like, I'm just like, you're like a
put you over my
fucking
knee.
child. And she's like, well, if I'm a child, that makes you a pedophile. And I'm like,
You called me daddy first.
shit. Now I do feel insulted by it, I mean, whatever.
Who opened up first in this relationship here, right?
Oh, she looked like a goalpost the first night.
Me.
Oh, you meant like emotionally speaking.
No, I mean opened up.
Oh, okay. Oh, that were either way. I finished.
Literally. Opened
Literally.
Up.
So, I was going to tell you that Irish joke, and we totally got sidetracked by.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Speaking of the Irish.
speaking of the Irish, so this old boy,
Put it back in there.
he finishes and he goes and he lives in the country, and he's walking along and he sees this new pub one day, and he goes in and he sits down and he's like, I'll have 3 beers, and he sits down, drinks the paper, and he drinks the 3. Now when he drinks the 3 beers, he's not drinking 1 beer, 2nd beer, 3 beers. He orders 3 beers and he drinks all 3 at the same time. Like, it takes a drink and he's passing around, go by no particular order, just
Sure.
drinking. Now this becomes his habit. He's retired every day. He goes in around noon, drinks till 3, goes home, watches the wheel, goes to bed. Matlock, whatever the fuck they watch over there in Ireland.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this goes on for a while, and finally the bartender, the keeper, walks over and says, I can pour you a new beer every time. You don't have to order all 3 at the same time. And he goes, oh no, that's how I drink them. And he's like, well, do you mind me asking why? All of a sudden he makes Lucky Charms on the side too. And he's like, do you mind me asking why you ordered 3? And he's like, well, you see, I've got 2 brothers. And we made ourselves a promise years ago that no matter where any of us were, when one of us had a drink, we'd drink for all 3 of us. So in a sense, we're all drinking together. If I got the one that is in Australia, he works in the wildfires, and he's severely younger than me, but he's a good boy, and if he's drinking a beer, I know he's drinking for me. And I've got one brother that lives up in Germany, and makes the chocolate up there and fucks the Dutch girls. And I know if he's double Dutch in one of those, he's drinking 2 beers for me and my brother too. And the bartender's like, hey, I can see how that's kind of a nice sentiment. I like that. Well, some weeks go by, and all of a sudden the old boy comes in at his normal time, orders 2 beers. And the barkeeper's like, oh my Lord, one of them must have died, and word goes out around the countryside because he's become fairly popular around town by now. Retired guy, just puts around, putters, and does nice things, and that guy that everybody likes.
Yeah.
And so word goes out, flowers come to the inn and in the bar and in the pub and in the cards and cinnamons and everything. The old boy shows up, next day, and he's having these drinks, 2 beers, and he sits down and he's like, hey, barkeep. He's like, what? Is this a holiday, a local holiday or something? What's the flowers? They're lovely, absolutely lovely, and the cards, they're so sweet and sentimental. What holiday is it? That I don't know about. And the keeper goes, oh, they're for you. He's like, for me? What did I do?
What did I do?
And he's like, oh, we heard about your brother's passing. And he goes, my brother's passing? Which one? He goes, you mean you didn't have a brother that passed? He goes, oh, no. He goes, well, we just kind of assumed you stopped ordering 3 beers. You're only at 2. And he goes, that's not because my brother died. He goes, well, then why is it? And he goes, I just quit drinking, but the other 2, they're still drinking for me.
Nice.
It's kind of like my sex life. A lot of build up for a little letdown.
That worked. On that note.
Did we cover anything this week?
Oh, yeah. We could sort of call it opportunity, right?
I mean, right. Okay, yeah, the hand jobs in the park. That's an opportunity for everybody. But let's just lay it out there. I mean, if you see an opportunity and you're laid off from work and it's your chance to chase a dream, go for it. You're never going to be in any better place to do it.
Now's the fucking time to do it.
You're never going to be any broker than you are right now.
Right. Yeah. If you stepped away from being a mechanic or a hairdresser or whatever, now's the fucking time because everybody's going to need it. And there's now that everything's open, you can't get in for a fucking month.
Well, and the thing is like I've noticed a lot of people have the dream of like a food truck or a food, something like that. Oh, I like cooking. I want to make people happy. You want to make people happy? Give them whiskey and blowjobs, woman. Right. That or go work at a senior center in the cooking, and become a cook. I don't know what to say. But a lot of restaurants are closed.
You're going to work your fucking ass off.
Yeah. And it's a penny profit business, but everything is. There's nothing that you can do unless you bust your ass is going to make a living at it. There's just nothing in our economy. Our world isn't suited for business owners anymore. It's geared towards the corporate world.
Right.
So no matter what you do, you're going to have to bust your ass. That's all there is to it. But maybe, everybody's like, oh, everybody's so lazy. And I do believe that. There's a large population that are sitting out there, and they're going to get used to sitting at home. I think the business world is going to change a lot because people are going to realize they don't have to pay workers' comp. They don't have to lease a building. They don't have to pay electric bills. They don't need half the employees that they needed before. It's going to gear towards more working at home.
Right.
That's a shift in everything. That's an industrial revolution. This is the same thing. It's going to start business owners thinking in a different way.
Yeah. And you've seen that coming for a long time.
Oh, that's been on its way for a while.
Yeah.
It was going to take a large, significant happening for people to shift that. But that means there's a lot of buildings open.
Right.
So if you want to start a restaurant or whatever, you're going to have to bust your ass, but it is what it is.
And if you've been looking for a building, they're probably going to be kind of cheap. Cheaper than they were, and they're not going to get cheaper.
Oh, I got a feeling there's going to be some houses on the courthouse step. I hate to say that, but
it's sad.
It is. It's but you can't build you can't take two steps without taking one back.
And the reason I thought about this topic is because in 2008 there were so many people that lost their house, lost their job, lost their life savings,
displaced.
But just as many people became millionaires for the first time.
Right.
Following that. Right.
Right.
So that's why I kind of thought about this episode, and I thought, that now is probably the best time to put this out there.
Right.
So
listen, people,
if you're willing to work.
Yeah. Jesus hates a pussy. If you're going to do it, do it. And, and you can say you want to leave a legacy for your kids. Well, you know what? You want to leave a legacy? Have them going,
Build
know what?
something.
My father busted his ass and did something. That being said, from personal experience, it's going to affect your personal life. So either have a good support system or don't plan on getting laid for like 5 years.
Yeah. All right, folks, that was episode 2. And thank you very much for joining us.
Yes,
and,
thank you for tolerating our ramblings.
Oh, my goodness. If you're sticking it out this long, you got 2 hours with us now. And, God bless you.
Yeah, gazoon tight.
Yeah. I ain't.
Real quick, I did want to give out a shout out to my brother-in-law, Wes, who said he was listening, and I think he's spreading it around like a severe case of herpes. Yeah. And
wouldn't have him any other way.
Right. And my buddy Josh, my brother Josh, more so in Springfield, who's getting it down a little south. He's going down for us.
And I let him know, right? And I let him know he's going to be a guest in the future.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah,
he just said, "Oh boy."
He's told me that before too.
Yeah.
And you? Anybody you want to throw out a hey to?
Just anybody that's listened, man. We've got. I looked at the stats yesterday. I didn't look today, but we've had about 25 downloads. So,
oh, nice.
That's not bad for the first time out.
Right.
Hopefully, we get at least 10 this time.
Right.
We can
see how many
build some audience.
Take the time to hit play and listen to it.
We know who we offended last time, right? So, just anybody that listened and commented, we appreciate it. And then we got a page on Facebook out there. It's B&J on the Rocks. You can search for that. And we've also got an email set up. So if, I thought in the future people could email and questions or whatever comments we could read on here.
Suggestions of topics. Even.
Right.
We're going to run.
we're creative people, but we're going to run out of topics
Right,
eventually.
right. And we can only play with ourselves for so long.
We're busy. we come up with an idea sometimes on like Sunday, and then on Wednesday try to get together, and it's like, what did you come up with? Let's wing it. And this is what you get. This is what you get. So yeah, we appreciate it, and we'll get this out there, and man, I just appreciate anybody that listens. That means a lot. So, all right, folks, thanks for joining us, and
Yeah, thanks.
we'll see you next week.